Hello everyone, and welcome to Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting series on what if Naruto awakens the brown eyes of God. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Rin. 12 years old Kakashi. 12 years old Obito, 12 and dead. The fourth. No clue in hell. Rin had been sitting in her apartment for the last 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, she had been rescued by her teammates, Kakashi and Obito. 3 weeks ago, Obito had been crushed by a rock nin. 3 weeks ago, she transplanted one of his eyes into Kakashi. 3 weeks ago, he told her that he loved her. She felt terrible at the moment he said those words. She had never been kind to him since the formation of the team. She treated him like trash and swooned over Kakashi, who just ignored her, but he still loved her. Ever since his death, their team had been coping in their own way. The fourth had taken up reading his sensei's books. Kakashi showed up late for everything. And Rin, she just shut out the world and relived every moment of the times she spent with Obito, looking for the few moments she had shown him kindness. Why her? How could he have fallen in love with her? She was lost in this train of thought, when a knock came at her door. She didn't move. She just sat there staring at her feet. Suddenly, the door opened and there stood her sensei, the Yellow Flash. Rin, he said softly, you can't keep this up. People are worried about you. I'm less than trash, she replied. Why didn't I act more like a teammate to Obito? Why didn't I do more? The fourth just stood there letting her pour out all her emotions. Sensei, I want to go away. I can't stay here anymore. Everything just reminds me of him. I'm sorry but no, said the Hokage. We are at war right now. If you leave, you will be considered a traitor by the village and declared a missing nin. If you stay here, you can do more for his memory. Missing nins get killed on sight, right sensei? She asked with a small smile. She turned to fan her sensei, the look of defeat in her eyes. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. The fourth raced over to her and grabbed her. This startled her. He had never done anything like this before. But, then again, nothing like this had ever happened before. Don't think like that, he said in a stern voice. Obito gave up his to save yours. Don't throw it away after he did something like that. He let her go and began to walk away, when a thought came to his mind. Rin, if in a week you still can get over this, come and see me by the cabin in the woods. I think I might have an idea for you to disappear for a while and not be declared a missing nin. Just, try to think of the good things in life. With that, he gave her a small smile and left her to her thoughts. A week passed by, and there he stood waiting for Rin by the cabin. It was late at night, so no one was around. He stood there with a large scroll that he had recently finished. In it contained all of his jutsu knowledge. Soon, he would place one last item in it. Rin came running up to him. She was wearing a purple gi with a fishnet clothes underneath and black pants. On her back was her survival gear along with a few personal items. She looked overjoyed when she saw her sensei. I'm here, she said with a grin. She was happy that she would be able to go away and work out her problems. Well, let's do this, said the fourth as he unrolled the scroll. What's this for, sensei? I'm going to seal you into this scroll. Rin's sweat dropped. This wasn't what she had in mind. Come again? If you leave, you are a missing nin. However, this scroll isn't going to be leaving the village. While you are in the scroll, time will stand still. No matter how long you are in the scroll, you will not feel hunger, get tired, or age. Basically, you will have all the time you need to get over Obito and any other feeling you might have. He hands her a picture. If someone else undoes the seal, just show them this and they'll have an understanding. Seal? Someone else? I've worked out a seal with the help of Jiraiya. The seal will only allow someone of my bloodline or his to unseal it. The picture is a safeguard, so if something happens to me, just show it to the new Hokage and he'll believe you or who you say you are and what happened. Who knows, I might die fighting a demon and my son will be the new Hokage and awaken you like in those fairy tales. He said the last part with a laugh. I pity whoever is related to you, sensei. Why? You're a little nutty and you like ramen too much, sensei. He shrugged and told her to stand in the middle of the seal. She did as she was told and was soon engulfed in a bright yellow light. The next thing she knew, she was in a world of whiteness. A few years later, ah, crap, said the fourth as he saw Kyuubi attacking the village. I just had to tempt fate. Did I just say fate? Damn, I'm sounding like a Hyuga. My wife is going to kill me. He knew this day was coming for the last couple of days. Reports had been coming in that the Kyuubi was coming closer and closer to the village each day. Now, he was here, destroying the village he had sworn to protect. A medic soon came into his office. Sir, your son was just born. The fourth just stared at the medic for a second and then began to bang his head onto his desk. Sir, is something wrong? He, bang, had, bang, to, bang, be, bang, born, bang, now. Another medic stepped into the room and looked at this sight. He took a deep breath. Sir, I'm sorry, but your wife has slipped into a coma. The fourth looked up and stared at him. Well, at least she can't object to this. With that, he went down to where his son was and began to place a seal on the baby's chest using his blood. A few seconds later, the third came into the room, looking angry. Don't even think about it, he said. Think about what? Replied the fourth, trying to look innocent. Kind of hard when you are making a blood seal on your son. We talked about this. You are not going to be placing the demon inside your son. Think about what his life will be like. He will be considered a hero to the people. He alone will be the one to keep the demon at bay. He will be the one responsible for giving the people of this village their futures back. But what if tomorrow ends and this was all for nothing? You worry too much. Have faith in the people of this village. With that, he walked out of the room as a teardrop fell off his cheek. He felt cheated. He wanted to do all the things other fathers get to do with their sons. Teaching his son how to ride a bike, how to throw a kunai, how to dispose of an enemy corpse. He just hoped to Kami that someone would be there for him, to take his place. Take care, Arashi, said Sarutobi. One night a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand. One belonged to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you you'd walk with me all the way, but I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there is only one set of footprints. I don't understand why when I needed you most you would leave me. The Lord replied, my precious, precious child, I love you and would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. We all go through hard times, some more than others. It's nice to know that someone is there to help carry us even when we don't know it. And, no matter how long that pain and sorrow lasts, someone will be there all the way. Well, IHNYONE with this. Well, on with the show. Naruto, get back here, shouted an angry Chunin as they chased an orange-clad boy. No way, yelled Naruto. You can't catch me. It had been 12 years since the Kyuubi attack. However, the people had not lost its fear of the great beast. To vent their anger and fear they turned on the boy who contained the beast. Many believed that he could be influenced by the Kyuubi or that he was the beast's reincarnation. Because of that, many of the people in the village gave him icy stares. Some of the people tried to kill him from time to time. Without any real attention, Naruto tried to get it any way he could. Like today, painting on the Hokage monument. Naruto was able to outrun his pursuers and hide from them effectively. As soon as the coast seemed clear, he came out of his hiding spot and began to laugh at them. He, who had failed the graduation exam 3 times, had outwitted Chunins. Sadly, his laughter stopped as he heard a voice from behind him. Naruto, what are you doing cutting class? Naruto turned around to see Iruka, whose eye was twitching. Soon, Naruto found himself back in class. Tomorrow is the graduation exam and you do this? If you have so much free time you should be studying so you don't fail it again. Yeah. I was just trying to have a little fun, commented the blonde. For that, we are going to have a pop quiz on the henge. Everyone, to the front of the class. Everyone began to complain, but did as they were told. One by one, each of the students began to transform into Iruka. Of course, all the girls went all over Sasuke when he went up. When it was Naruto's turn he did his transformation, just not into Iruka. Instead, he turned into a naked girl with pigtails. Like any straight man. Hey, I'd fall for this jutsu. Who wouldn't? He fall backwards as a stream of blood gushed out of his nose. How do you like that, sensei? Laughed Naruto. I call it the sexy jutsu. Not created, stupid jutsus, shouted Iruka as he got back up. This is your last chance, so don't screw around. Later that day, Iruka was watching Naruto clean up his mess. You can leave until this is all cleaned up, reminded Iruka. Whatever, it's not like I have anyone waiting for me back home, responded Naruto. Naruto had grown up all alone his whole life. At the age of 4, he was kicked out of the orphanage and was given an apartment by the Hokage. The old man had never told Naruto back his mother because he didn't want to get his hopes up. She had been in a coma for 12 years and it was unlikely she would ever wake up. Iruka sighed and decided to pull out his trump card. Hey Naruto, when you get down I'll treat you to a bowl of ramen. Naruto looked at his sensei for a second, and then got to work faster than ever. Amazing what a little motivation can do to a person. Later, while Naruto was downing his third bowl of ramen, Iruka asked the boy why he had done it. Naruto looked at him and replied that he had respect for them and would that it was his declaration that he could become a Hokage someday. Okay, he didn't say those words exactly, but that was the idea he was going for. Hey sensei. What is it, Naruto? Can I try on you Hite 8? Sorry, but you'll have to wait for tomorrow after you pass the exam. Iruka gave Naruto a knowing smile and then sent him on his way. In Iruka's mind, Naruto could do it. The next day was the big day. One by one, Iruka called out names to meet him in the next room to be tested by him and his assistant Mizuki. Naruto was nervous. If it had been on anything other than the clone skill, he could pass. However, it was. Soon his name was called. He soon found himself facing his senseis. Okay Naruto, said Iruka, all you need to do is make a clone and you pass. Do your best. Right. Bushin no Jutsu. A large puff of smoke appeared and when it disappeared, it revealed a half-dead looking clone. You fail, shouted Iruka. Hold on, said Mizuki. He has the concept down and was able to make a clone. I'm sure we could pass him. Naruto looked up at this. His hopes were high. Maybe he would pass after all. Sadly, those thoughts vanished with Iruka's next words. No, we can't pass him. The other students were able to make at least 3 clones and they were able to walk around. Naruto's clone is useless. I'm sorry, but it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the class. After that, Naruto sat on a swing watching the parents of the other students pick up their children. He was the only one who didn't pass. What hurt the most was that no one came over to him to cheer him up. No, that wasn't true. He could handle the stares and the cold words that were whispered about him. What hurt the most was that, once again, no one was there to pick him up like the other students. He was alone. Soon Mizuki came over to Naruto and asked if he wanted to talk. Naruto agreed and followed Mizuki to the top of the Hokage monument. Don't be too hard on Iruka, said Mizuki. He just wants to see you do your best. He really cares about up. Naruto said nothing. He just looked down at the ground until Mizuki spoke again. There is another way to pass, but it's a secret. What is it? Asked Naruto. All you have to do is sneak into the Hokage's office, steal the forbidden scroll, and learn one jutsu from it before someone finds you, he explained. How does that prove I'm ready to be a genin? Asked Naruto. Not as dumb as he looks. It will prove you have the skills necessary to be a genin. Things like stealth, courage, and the ability to think on your feet. Something seemed off about this answer, but Naruto decided to trust Mizuki. After all, he was a teacher and a shinobi of this village. He could be trusted, right? Later that night, Naruto snuck into the Hokage's office and grabbed the scroll. While he was making his escape, the Hokage entered the office and saw him. Thinking quickly, Naruto used his sexy jutsu on the old man, knocking him out cold. And they said that was a useless jutsu, said Naruto with a smirk. Naruto quickly made his way to the place where Mizuki had told him to go to. As soon as he got there he opened the scroll and noticed a large seal on the first part. What the hell is this for? He said aloud. He began to think back to his previous lessons on seals. Luckily for him, he had been awake for that lesson. He remembered that most seals could be opened with a little bit of blood. Naruto shrugged, thinking this was part of the test, bit his thumb and pressed it against the seal. It suddenly began to flow a bright red color. What the? He never got to finish the sentence as a young girl shot out of the scroll and landed on him. Naruto pushed her off of him, got up, and looked her over. From what he could tell, she was asleep. She appeared to be 12 or 13. She had short brown hair and had 2 orange marks on her cheeks. She was wearing a purple gi with a fishnet clothes underneath and black pants with a backpack on her back. Naruto leaned closer to her face, when all of a sudden, she opened her eyes. "Wah!" shouted Naruto as he backed away from the girl. She got up on her knees and looked at the boy in front of her. He was wearing an ugly orange jumpsuit, goggles, had blonde hair, and blue eyes. "Sensei," was all she said before she passed out again. To say Naruto was confused would have been an understatement. Part of him wanted to run away and the other wanted to stay to find out who she was. Making up his mind, he went over to the girl and made sure she was all right. After checking her vitals, he decided that she was just tired and asleep. Content with this, he pulled the scroll over to her and began to read about shadow clones. It was about an hour later when Iruka showed up. He was expecting only Naruto to be there, but not a sleeping girl as well. Naruto looked like he was exhausted. "Hey Iruka-sensei, looks like you found me," said Naruto with a laugh. "Naruto, what are doing here and who is she?" "Don't know," said Naruto as he scratched the back of his head. "She just popped out of the scroll. And the reason I'm here while test. I only managed to learn one jutsu though." "What special test?" asked the dumbfounded teacher. "The one Mizuki-sensei told me about. He said all I had to do was steal the forbidden scroll and learn one jutsu and I could become a genin." "Naruto," began Iruka, but stopped when he sensed Mizuki appear on a tree branch above them. "I see you found him first," said Mizuki with a smug look on his face. "What's going on, sensei?" asked Naruto. "Naruto, Mizuki lied to you," said Iruka as he pulled out a kunai. "He used you to steal the forbidden scroll for himself." "Naruto," said Mizuki with an evil look in his eyes, "have you ever wondered why you are hated? Would you like me to tell you?" "Why?" asked Naruto. "Don't," shouted Iruka. "It's because you are the nine-tailed fox Kyuubi no Kitsune," said Mizuki with a look of glee on his face. "What? That's impossible. Think about," said Mizuki. "Why do you think everyone hates you? Your birthday is October 10th. The Say-day is the day the Kyuubi attacked. And those whisker marks. And what about the names all the villagers call you? Face it, you are the demon fox. Even Iruka hates you because you killed his parents." Naruto fell to his knees. This was too much for him to take in. But it was beginning to make sense. Seeing Naruto in this state, Mizuki flung one of his giant shurikens at Naruto. However, it impacted the back of Iruka. "Iruka-sensei." "Why?" asked the demon vessel. "Naruto, I'm so sorry. I was the same as you. I know what it feels to be all alone. When my parents died, I became the class clown so people would notice me and my grades slacked. I'm so sorry I never helped you when you really needed it." With that, Iruka fell down. In pure panic, Naruto grabbed the scroll and ran away. Mizuki soon began to chase him and shortly after that so did Iruka. Rin let out a big yawn as she got up and stretched. She felt rested and refreshed. Realizing that she was out of the scroll, she looked around for her sensei. "Where is sensei? And why the hell did he take so long to get me unsealed?" Rin then noticed 3 chakra signatures close by and decided to check them out. She hoped one of them was her sensei. When she caught up to the signatures, she saw a person in a Chunin vest with brown hair and a scar on his nose turn into a Chunin with blue hair. She decided to hide and find out what was going on. "How did you know I wasn't Iruka?" asked Mizuki. Then, the other person, a boy in an orange jumpsuit, turned into the scared Chunin. "Because I'm Iruka. I don't see why you're not helping me kill that monster. He killed your parents. You saw the way he looked. That was the loom of a monster with no remorse for the lives he has taken. Help me kill him and together we can take the scroll and become powerful." "You're right," said Iruka. "Monsters do kill without remorse and they do terrible things." In his hiding place, Naruto began to sink into despair. Iruka thought of him as a monster as well. However, he was amazed at what he said next. But that's not what Naruto is. He's nothing like the demon fox. He is a kind and hard-working boy that everyone ignores. He is one of the finest students I have ever taught and will become a great shinobi one day. "You are a fool, Iruka. Now die," said Mizuki as he reached to his back to pull out his other shuriken. However, it wasn't there. What the hell? Looking for this, said Rin as she strolled out of her hiding place into view. Now, what's this I hear of a demon fox? Just then, Naruto rushed over to his sensei. I'm sorry sensei, he said. That's okay, Naruto. That's the demon fox right there, said Mizuki as he pointed at Naruto. The fourth sealed it inside a newborn baby and the demon fox took over. Now, help me kill it and that traitor. The only traitor here is you, shouted Naruto as he turned to face the blue-head Chunin. If you lay one finger on my sensei, I'll kill you. I'd like to see you try, said the cocky Chunin. Fine, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Suddenly, the entire forest became orange. My eyes can't take it. So many ugly jumpsuits. Well, it was then the beatdown began. When Naruto was finished, he turned to see the girl who had appeared out of the scroll treating Iruka's wound. Are you okay sensei? Asked Naruto. Yeah, I'll be all right, replied his sensei. Of course he'll be all right, said the girl. I'm treating him after all. Now, where is my sensei? I didn't see him when I woke up. He was supposed to be here when I got unsealed. Ah, I unsealed you, said Naruto meekly. What? But he said only he or one of his family members could undo the seal. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm telling you I unsealed you. As Naruto said this, he began to scratch the back of his head. Rin's eyes grew wide. Arashi used to do the same thing. In fact, Naruto looked just like him. Crap. I must have been gone too long. So, where is the fourth? He's dead, replied Naruto. He died 12 years ago. When she heard that, she sank into a corner of the meadow looking depressed. Hey Naruto, close your eyes, said Iruka. Naruto complied, and when he opened them, he noticed the Iruka's Hite was no longer on Iruka's head. It was his. Naruto began to jump for joy and his happiness was infectious. Rin looked over at this happy sight. I'm glad you became a shinobi, she said as she walked over. My name is Rin. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the next Hokage. Sarutobi looked at the scene unfolding in his crystal ball. The girl did look a lot like Rin, but she should have been much old. Suddenly, a medic burst into his room. Lord Hokage, something incredible just happened. What is it? The fourth's wife just woke up. The old man just stared at him. Oh shit, was all he said. Well, there we are. Now for some pulls. I like to try something different, so the first set of pull will be for Naruto's bloodline. Which clan do you want her to be a part of? Deidara's clan. Exploding clay type jutsus. The Kagaya clan, Shikatsumiku or the Deadbone Pulse. No clan, just same old Naruto. The other vote will be for the Team 7 Sensei. Here are the choices. Kakashi. He looks up for his porn, saying that he will only teach Sasuke. Anko. She gives a sadistic grin. Zabuza. B begins to shout, I have reformed. The winners are Anko by 1 vote and the Deadbone Pulse by a lot. I had hoped you all would have gone for the clay bombs. Just imagine those bombs pull Kyuubi's chakra. Can anyone say mushroom cloud? Lol. Well, let's get on with the story, shall we? Momiji Uzumaki opened her eyes for the first time in 12 years. She slowly looked to her right and then her left. She then let out a sigh. The last thing she remembered was the Kyuubi's attack and her going into birth. Talk about stressful. Wait a minute, birth? She quickly looked at her chest area and her eyes became dish plates. How long was she out? Where was her baby? Oh Kami, you're awake, cried a nurse as she entered the room. Where's my baby? Asked Momiji softly. The nurse, who wasn't there at the time of Naruto's birth, walked to the end of the bed and looked at her chart. Her eyes went down and read all the information till she got to the name of the baby. Her eyes narrowed. Sadly, madam, the demon brat still lives. Momiji's eyes narrowed. A flood of killer intent filled the room. What is that supposed to mean? She asked. Fair question for a woman who had been in a coma and didn't know why people hated Naruto. I'm afraid I can't answer that, replied the nurse. The third Hokage has forbid anyone from talking about the reason. The third forbid it? What happened to her husband? What was so bad about her son? Did Arashi do? No, he promised her he wouldn't seal the demon in a child. He had given her his word. Get a wheelchair and take me to see the Hokage, she demanded. He and I need to have a little chat. Ma'am, You just got out of a coma. You shouldn't move for at least. She was cut off as a bone spear shot out Momiji's arm and hit the wall next to her. A bead of sweat dripped off her chin as she stared at the angry mother in her hospital bed. She said coldly. Now, get that damn wheelchair and tell the Hokage that I'm coming. The Hokage was cringing in his office. They say hell has no fury like a woman scorned. Well, that fury is nothing compared to a mother's rage. The Hokage knew this, and the mother he was currently dreading, when angry, made Enko seem like a sweet little schoolgirl. In short, he was screwed. Arashi, why'd I get the feeling you died just to escape her wrath, said the old man looking up at the ceiling. Just then, the door to his office began to open in slow motion. The old man began to sweat bullets. He clenched his heart. His skin started to pale. This was it. The door was fully opened and Naruto ran into the room, followed by Iruka and the girl called Rin. Sarutobi let out a sigh of relief. Sorry for barging in, said Iruka. I brought Naruto as quickly as possible and he really wanted to see you. Hey old man, said Naruto suddenly. You should have seen me. I mastered the Shadow Clone Jutsu and beat up Mizuki. Yes, I know all about that, Naruto, replied the third. I was very impressed that you were able to learn that jutsu in such a short amount of time. I approve of Iruka's decision to make you a genin. Naruto was grinning from ear to ear. Sarutobi then looked at Rin. Now, who are you and where did you come from? I'm Rin, you old man. My sensei was Arashi and my teammates were Obito and Kakashi. You must have gone senile since I've been gone. I mean, how could you forget about me? That impossible, he replied. If you are who you say you are, then you should be at least 27 years old. That's thanks to Arashi. He sealed me in his giant scroll to give me some time off to get my head together. He told me that time would basically stand still for me while I was sealed away and that the only people who could unseal me were people in his bloodline. Here, he told me to give this to anyone other than him unseals me. She hands the picture to Sarutobi. He looked down and was shocked at what he saw. It contained his 3 students and their best student at their trip to the beach. Tsunade was with Shizune smirking at Orochimaru, who had gotten a bad sunburn. His apprentice, Enko, was applying ointment to his once white skin. Jiraiya and Arashi were laughing their heads off. Those were better times, happier times. Only the people there that day have a copy of this picture. I should know since I was the one who took it. The only way you could have gotten this is if someone gave it to you. So, do you believe me? Asked Rin. I do, he replied. It seems impossible, but Arashi did the impossible a lot. I take it you want to be reinstated back into the shinobi program? Of course, she said. I want to get back out there and do my best for this village. If possible, I would like to work with my old teammate. Well, that's a problem. You have been gone for so long that no one will recognize you and will have a hard time believing who you say you are. Also, you earned your rank during wartime circumstances. In order to be placed back into the program, you will have to start over as a genin. What? Was heard all over the village. Rin was trying to attack the Hokage, but was held back by Naruto. Let me at him. This senile old man is going down. Wait, said Naruto as he felt his grip begin to slip. You made it to Chunin once, can't you just do it again? Rin stopped and calmed down. I could do that. Everyone face faulted. I got a question. She points at Naruto. Is he a nephew of Arashi's or something? Iruka and Naruto perked up at this. Sarutobi sighed. He wanted to wait to tell Naruto about who his father was for a bit longer. He didn't want Naruto to get a big head and start yelling at the streets. But, it looked like his options were none. Naruto is, started Sarutobi, however he was interrupted by a voice of a very angry woman. I don't need an appointment to see the Hokage, he heard the woman yell. It was coming from the receptionist's desk. I am going to give that old man a piece of my mind and spinal cord for what has been going on. Once again, the old man was sweating bullets. He had to get out of here. He had to get someone else to take the blame and the punishment. But who could do that in such a short amount of time? Iruka, he was perfect. Iruka, said the old man quickly. I'm retiring. I'm making you the new Hokage. Me sir, stammered the young school teacher. Then his eyes narrow. Just what are you trying to pull? If this is a joke, it's not funny. There was a loud crash behind them. When the 3 in front of the Hokage turned around, saw that the door was missing. In its place was a woman in a wheelchair in a hospital gown. She had white hair, blue eyes, and 2 red dots above her eyes. She was staring at the Hokage, ignoring everything else in the room. "Hello Sarutobi," she said in an icy tone. "I thought that I should stop by and see how things were. I also have some questions." "Momiji, I can explain," replied the Hokage. "Good. Now, did he do what I think he did?" The Hokage nodded. "And you let him?" "He had to place the people's lives above all else. I voiced my objections and he refused to listen." "So where is my son now?" "He is in this room now," responded the Hokage. Momiji was taken back by that and noticed the other people in the room for the first time. She started at the tallest, who had a scar on his nose. Then she saw a brown-haired girl who looked like one of her husband's students she saw when they were dating. Her eyes finally rested on Naruto, who looked very confused. She rolled over to him. "What is your name?" she asked sweetly. "Naruto Uzumaki," he replied. He named him after ramen. "That is so like Arashi," she said, more to herself than anyone else. Rin's eyes went wide. "You mean that Naruto is the son of Arashi, the 4th Hokage?" yelled Rin. Naruto fainted as the Hokage nodded. "He took that well," said the old man. "Iruka, could you and Rin please take him to his apartment? I think this could take a while." Iruka nodded as he picked up Naruto and left. Rin followed, looking like she was in a daze. "Apartment," said Momiji questionably. "Who is taking care of him?" "No one would take him in," replied the Hokage. "All they ever saw was the Kyuubi. I did my best to keep him safe. I forbid people from talking about what really happened that day to give him a chance with the younger generation. However, the hate that the parents had has rubbed off on the children. No matter where he went, he was hated. He was eventually kicked out of the orphanage, and so I gave him an apartment to keep him safe. Nobody would take him in. What about Kakashi?" "Kakashi didn't because he felt that he was too young. Also, I didn't want Naruto picking up on his bad habits." Momiji nodded. No son of hers would be caught reading porn. To be honest, there was only one person in the village who wanted to take in Naruto. I refused to allow it. "What? Give me one good reason why." "It was Guy." Momiji stopped and thought back to her encounters of Guy. She then began to think of her son acting like Guy. She saw Naruto wearing orange spandex with green leg warmers. She then thought of him going on about the springtime of youth. She shuddered at the thoughts. "Scary," she said. "I know," replied the old man. "Now, I have saved your old home for you and your son. I was saving it for him till he reached Chunin, but since you're back, I'll just do it now." She gave him a nod. Yes, she was back. She had missed 12 years of her son's life and she would not miss any more. She would do her best to help her son and give him a better future. Naruto was just waking up as the 3 of them were walking downtown. "He's up," said Rin. Iruka set Naruto down on a nearby bench. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "How do you think?" he said with a bit of anger. "I just found out that my dad was the one who sealed the demon fox in my gut. I also found out that my mom is back. Where has she been for the last 12 years? "That's a good question," said Rin. "Well, I heard that she was in a coma." Sai heard this. He brought his head down in shame. He had thought that his mother had simply abandoned him. Hell, he thought they both had. Iruka decided to continue. "I'm sure that the Hokage is telling her how strong you have been. Not everyone could take the abuse you have had to endure all these years." This made Naruto smile. "Well, now that he's up, let's go shopping," she Rin with a wide grin. "I mean, that jumpsuit is awful. How can you stand to wear it?" "I wanted something that would make people notice me," replied Naruto. Yes it is," said Rin. "People can't help but see you and think, how can he go outside like that? Now I'm going to find you something better to wear." "I can't," said Iruka. "I got some paperwork to take care of and a few other things. You two, be at class on Monday for team assignments." With that he walked away. He knew that Naruto could make it the rest of the way to his place. "All right, it's you and me," said Rin as she grabbed Naruto's arm and began to drag him into a store. "Can't we talk about this?" he said. Sadly, he had no luck. They were in a store in a matter of seconds and Rin was going over each of the items. She thought blue would look the best on him. It looked good on her sensei and Naruto was like a clone of him. After an hour of trying out outfits, Naruto stepped out of the store in his new clothes. I don't know the names, so just think of Ichigo's Bankai outfit but light blue. He was carrying several boxes of clothes that Rin bought as well. That looks good on you, commented Rin. So, do you want to get something to eat? You bet, said Naruto as he began to drool. Do you mind going to Ichiraku's? No, I haven't been there in forever, replied Rin. I wonder how Tucci is doing in his old age. Last time she had seen the man, he was worried that he was going bald. They later reached the ramen stand and chatted with Ayame and Tucci before placing their orders. Rin was surprised that Tucci now had a daughter, but as the saying goes, things change. Naruto placed an order for 3 miso and 2 beef while Rin simply asked for a shrimp. When their orders came, Rin was surprised by Naruto's bad table manners. Why do you eat like that? She asked. Naruto looked down at his bowl with a hint of sadness in his eyes. When I was younger, people were always attacking me whenever I sat down to eat. I never could finish a meal in peace. They stopped eventually, but I guess I formed a habit of trying to finish off my meals as quickly as possible. I'm sorry, Rin apologized. She had forgotten what his life had been like. Hated for something he couldn't control. Despised and never knowing the reason why. Growing up without anyone to guide him. She was amazed that he could still smile and laugh. Just then, a hand fell on Rin's shoulder. They looked up at a man wearing a mask. His hite covering one of his eyes. He was wearing a Junin uniform and had silver hair. Rin, is that you? Asked the man. His one visible eye was wide. Kakashi. An angry aura surrounded Rin. Her eyes turned blood red. Everyone in the vicinity thought that she had some kind of bloodline limit. Is that so, pervert? Rin sent a powerful punch at Kakashi, sending him ricocheting off several buildings. Naruto found it odd that the man named Kakashi never let go of his book the whole time. Rin went back to the stand and asked for several more bowls. Who was that? Asked Naruto as Rin finished her 4th bowl and had calmed down. My old teammate, she said. I used to have a crush on him, but he just ignored me. Kami, I was so stupid. I know how you feel, said Naruto. I had a crush on this girl in my class. She would always turn me down and only talk about Sasuke. That's all anyone ever talks about, how great Sasuke is. Wow, said Rin. It looks like history is repeating itself. Naruto looked confused and Rin decided to explain better. Kakashi was always the center of attention back at the academy. He was the one all the girls wanted. I stalked him everywhere. She gave a light chuckle. I was such a fool. He never cared about me or anyone, not until someone died, that is. Naruto began to think of Sasuke following Kakashi's footsteps. He began to laugh at the thought of Sasuke carrying porn wherever he went. He turned to Rin and saw that she was looking a little down. Hey, said Naruto suddenly as he paid for the meal. I want to show you something. Later, Rin found herself on top of the 4th's head on the monument. The scene was beautiful. This is where I like to come and think about things. Not that many people like to come here because it's a long walk. Also, at night it gives you the best view of the stars. Rin was staring at Naruto as he said this. She had to admit, it was an amazing sight. Also, she found it odd that he chose this spot to sit on. Naruto, why this head? Well, I want to be more like the 4th. I mean, my dad. Why? He was the strongest Hokage ever. He gave his life for the people of this village and everyone respected him because of that. That's why I want to be a Hokage. It's my way of proving I exist and will make the people respect me. I will become stronger than he was. Rin just stared at him. Become stronger than Arashi, was that possible? She then noticed the look in his eyes. Full of determination and pride, but no arrogance. She felt safe looking in those eyes. Is there something on my face? He asked when he noticed her staring at him. Ah, no, she said while blushing. I just got lost in thought, that's all. So this is where you went, said the old man as he appeared behind them. Rin's face went beet red for reasons she didn't understand. What do you want, Gramps? Asked Naruto. I came to show you to your new home, he replied. Your mother wants it cleaned up by the time she is fully recovered. Rin and Naruto got up and followed the Hokage back towards the town. Hey old man, asked Naruto suddenly, how did my parents meet? Well, Momiji was brought to this village by your father. She had run away from her clan and was caught up in a battle between the Leaf and Rock Nin. She was powerful, but weak due to her travels and lack of food. Your father brought her back and helped nurse her back to health. She had left her clan because they enjoyed killing too much and had massacred several small villages. That love for battle caused them to attack the Mist Village and they were wiped out. As far as I know, you and your mother are the only ones left with the Shikatsumiku. What's the Shikatsumiku? Asked Naruto. It's your mother's clan's bloodline limit. She said it should be awakening in you soon and she'll talk to you about it more. Naruto was in awe. He had a bloodline limit. They soon reached his new home. It looked like a simple two-story Japanese-style house with a dojo on the side. Where will Rin be staying? Asked Naruto as he set down the clothes he had been carrying. With you and your mother, he replied. Rin was about to object, but the Hokage cut he off. The only place with rooms available is Naruto's old apartment building. It is in no condition for you to live in Rin. But it was for me, asked Naruto darkly. It's different. I'm sure you didn't mind the cockroaches and funny smells. The old man got his answer as Naruto's eye began to twitch. Well, I got paperwork to do. Oh, tomorrow you will be taking your identification picture. Be at the Hokage Tower by 5 o'clock. And with that, he left the two preteens alone. It was early the next morning and Momiji was feeling much better. Thanks to the advancements made in medical jutsus, her muscle strength was returning much faster than normal. By the end of the weekend, she would be able to leave and start spending time with her son. As if on cue, he appeared at her door with some flowers. She noticed his change of clothing and was glad. Orange and ninjas don't go tighter. Morning I mean Mom, he said as he walked in. Sorry, this is going to take some getting used to. I understand, she replied. It was then that she noticed something new on the boye, two red dots above the boy's eyes. Naruto, when did you get those? I think last night. I had the weird dream that the village was made of bones and stuff. When I woke up, I had a huge headache. I saw them on my forehead when I was washing my face. What are they? They are the marks of my family's clan. Since they have shown up, it means that you will be able to use the Shikatsumiku. Really, beamed Naruto. I can't wait to see what it does. It is very powerful, however, it isn't easy to master. I will take a lot of hard work in order to fully master it and use it in combat. Don't think of it like it's a shortcut. Naruto looked down at the ground. He felt like he had disappointed his mother somehow. Seeing this, Momiji decided to change the topic. So tell me about yourself. I want to know everything that has been going on in your life. Naruto began to tell his mom about his life starting at the orphanage. He told her about the pranks he pulled and the number of times he escaped from the Chunins. He told her about the people who had treated him decently and the ones who just tolerated him. He tried to avoid the number of beating he had gotten over the past because he didn't want to sound like he was whining. But in the end she convinced him to tell her about them. Lastly, he told her about the people in his class and how excited he was to finally become a shinobi. I'm very proud of you, Naruto, she said when he was done. Not many people would have been able to take the kind of treatment you have had to endure. Your father would have been proud. What was he like? Asked her son. How can I put this? She said as she closed her eyes as she thought about it. He was a complete idiot. What? Shouted Naruto. But all the history books say he was awesome. How could he have been an idiot? Well, that's their opinion. True, he was a genius on the battlefield, but that's where it ended. The man was hopeless. He was loud, loved ramen too much, and got over-emotional at the worst times. But I loved him. He was a fair man who treated everyone with respect, even if they didn't deserve it. He forgave others and tried his best to help those in need. Wow, said Naruto. But why did he seal the Kyuubi inside of me? Believe me, I did my best to talk him out of it. When we first heard that demon was coming, he decided that sealing it in a newborn child was the best way to go. I argued that it would be unfair to the child. He said that the people would see the kid as a hero. I was more rational. But I also had a bad feeling that you would be the one he would choose. Arashi would never force something like this on someone else unless he would be willing to do it himself. So, you knew that whoever got the Kyuubi sealed up in would be mistreated. It was the same thing in Water Country. People with bloodline limits are shunned there for something they couldn't control. I knew it would be the same thing here, so I put my foot down and made his swear that he wouldn't do that. After that, the two talked for hours. After all, they had a lot of catching up to do. Naruto soon learned about his mother's clan and its bloody history. He also learned more about his father and couldn't help but notice the comparisons between them. Soon, it was 4:30 and Naruto had to get going. Sorry mom, but I have to go. I have to get picture taken. He gave her a big grin. Well, you have fun. Also, I want you to be careful once you start going on missions. You don't have to worry about me, he said with the utmost confidence in his voice. I'm awesome. With that he left. Later, Naruto saw in the waiting hall after getting his picture taken. He had wanted to put on some cool makeup, but Rin convinced him otherwise. Instead, he opted for make the peace symbol with his foxy grin. Haruka started to yell at him for making his picture look stupid. Naruto, wanting to get out of there, decided to use his sexy jutsu and caused both men to faint. This caught the attention of a small boy who was watching them. So, that's the sexy no jutsu, said the old man as he got back up. He explained to Naruto that the picture was a serious matter. But, the damage was done and it wasn't as bad as Haruka made it seem, so he didn't have to retake it until he was older. As they got up to leave, a small boy entered the room. Not again. Today's the day that I defeat you, old man, shouted Konohamaru. His attack was short-lived as he tripped halfway into the room. Soon, a Jonin with sunglasses entered the room. Young master, are you all right? Said Ebisu. Konohamaru sat up quickly and pointed at Naruto. It's your fault that I slipped. What? Shouted an angry Naruto. He got up from his chair, grabbed the little brat by his shirt and got ready to punch him. You were the one who slipped, so don't blame me. Don't touch the honorable grandson of the Hokage, said Ebisu. Konohamaru knew what was going to happen next. The blonde would apologize and put him down. However, that's not what happened. Naruto punched him. I don't care who you are. No one has the right to blame others for their mistakes. With that, Naruto left and Konohamaru slipped past his sensei, who was talking about how he was the best chance of Konohamaru becoming a Hokage, and followed Naruto. Naruto walked down the street looking for things to do. After a short period of time, he saw Rin talking to Kakashi. Please let me see, she begged. No, now stop asking, he replied. Naruto walked up to the two of them. What's going on? Asked the blonde. Rin went into pout mode. I have been bugging Kakashi to let me see his face since the academy days. I just can't take it. I want to see his face. And you never will, said Kakashi with his eye smile. He then disappeared in a puff of smoke. One of these days, Kakashi, one of these days, growled Rin. Ah, Rin, said Naruto, getting her attention. Do you want to hang out for a while? Rin blinked. Was he asking her out? It was probably too early for that, she decided. However, she didn't have anything else to do and most of the people she knew were either dead or had families. Time travel sucks. Sure, but do you mind if we leave your pet rock behind? She said with a smile and pointed at a square rock behind him. After she did that, the rock exploded and out came Konohamaru, coughing. Damn, I think I used too much powder, he whined. He then looked up at Naruto. Please take me on as your apprentice. I want to know how to do that super cool jutsu you used to take out my grandpa. Rin gave Naruto an odd look. She was questioning his ability and his morals. Who attacks elderly men with jutsus? She also noticed him sweating bullets. Inside Naruto's head, he was yelling at himself. He didn't want Rin, who he was living with, to think he was a pervert. What if his mother found out? Crap, he would have to seal away that jutsu forever. Naruto, asked Rin sweetly, why did you use a jutsu against some poor defenseless old man? He isn't that defenseless, he's the Hokage, replied Naruto quickly. Oh, then show me this jutsu, asked Rin. Now she was interested. Naruto was creating his own jutsus just like his father. She had to see this. Maybe later, he said as he picked up Konohamaru and began to run away at full speed. A few hours and many bruises later, Naruto was showing Konohamaru the sexy jutsu on the condition that he never tell anyone where he learned it. Naruto had taken the boy to several spots in the village to get an idea of how the female body should look. However, the boy was having some difficulty with it and Naruto was the one who always got hit in the end. Naruto had asked why he wanted to beat his grandfather and the boy said it was for respect, so that people would use his name and not honorable grandson. Soon Ebisu had finally found them. Jonin my ass if he can't find two children. Young master, what are you doing? Asked the special Jonin. Boss is teaching me. Watch this. Sexy jutsu. Konohamaru then turned into a naked, female adult version of himself that wasn't fat for once. Ebisu's nose began to drip a little blood. That is a disgusting jutsu and it will never have any effect on me, he said as he grabbed Konohamaru and began to forcibly drag the boy away. Come with me and I will show you the quickest way to Hokage. Hey, said Naruto. He doesn't want to go with you, so let him go or eat my fist. Ebisu let go of the boy and began to walk towards Naruto. He gave the boy an evil grin. He was going to put this genin in his place and look good in front of the Hokage's grandson. Fine then, let's see what you got. Naruto preformed his shadow clone jutsu and surrounded Ebisu. Please, I am a Jonin. I won't fall for this as easily as Mizuki did. Actually, said Naruto with an evil grin, this is something new. Both he and his clone did a henge and the area was covered with smoke. A henge won't work on me. I'm a Jonin. When the smoke cleared, he was surrounded by naked blonde girls in pigtails. They all ran up to him and began to touch him. It was too much for poor pitiful Ebisu to take. He was down for the count. Naruto returned to normal and dispelled his clones. I call that the harem jutsu. God bless his perverted little heart. Naruto then told Konohamaru that there was no shortcuts in life and that to become Hokage would be very long and hard. Just as he was leaving, feeling good about his accomplishment, Rin appeared. So that's the jutsu you used? Konohamaru winced at the pain his boss was in as she began to punish him. The Hokage, who was watching it all from his crystal ball, decided to label these perverted jutsus under forbidden. Then he began to wonder if he should tell Momiji about these jutsus. The image of her impaling him with one of her bones caused him to decide against it. On Monday morning, Naruto was awoken to something completely new to him. The sounds and smells of breakfast being made. Naruto got out of bed and began to get dressed. He was in the room that he guessed was meant for him. It was the room filled with baby stuff. He had moved its original contents and replaced it with his stuff from his apartment. While doing this, he got the feeling that his dad had decided on his name a long time ago. On the back of several of his baby clothes was his name. Putting on his new light blue outfit and tying on his forehead protector, he went downstairs. When he reached the kitchen, he saw his mother making pancakes, bacon, and eggs. Mom, you're back, he said happily. She turned to face him and gave him a grin. I got out late last night, could you please help set the table? Naruto began to get to work and so Rin came down dressed in a new outfit. After she finished beating Naruto, she decided to blackmail him. In exchange for not telling his mother that he knew perverted jutsus, he would take her on another shopping spree. She was now wearing black pants, a white GI with fishnet underclothes, and a black sash. She smiled as she said good morning to everyone and they soon began to eat. They were soon at the academy and Rin was a little nervous. She didn't know any of these people and felt them staring at her. She noticed a brooding Uchiha in a corner, a quiet Aburame, and a shy-looking Hyuga. They all looked at her and noticed she was with the class loser. Shino. I don't care. Wait, did she just step on a bug? She must die. No, wait, that was a raisin. I'm back to not caring. Sasuke. Since when has any girl been close to that loser? She probably just pities him. She must be new since she hasn't hit on me yet. Just wait, Itachi, I'll defeat you and then make all the girls of this village mine. That will prove I'm better than you. I mean, I have never seen you with a girl. Not once. Hinata. What is going on? I'm the only one who should like him. Back off, bitch. He's mine. Wait, calm down. It's not like they're living together or anything like that. She'll probably go after Sasuke and then he'll be all mine again. Naruto. Is there something on my face? Everyone is looking at me. Oh well. Hey, what are you doing here? Asked Kiba as Naruto took a seat near him. I thought you failed. I took a makeup, said Naruto. Rin then sat down next to him and Naruto introduced her to Kiba. Suddenly, Sakura and Ino came barging in the door. It was another one of their odd attempts to get Sasuke to notice them. Naruto thought back to when he liked Sakura and sighed. He never stood a chance in hell. Soon all the girls were ganging around Sasuke, who simply ignored them. Naruto got up and jumped in front of the Uchiha. I don't like you, said Naruto. The two began their glaring match. What's going on? Rin asked Kiba. The morning glaring ritual, he replied. They do this every morning. Sakura, who was angry at Naruto for getting in the way of true love, tried to push him out of the way. Sadly, Naruto landed on Sasuke and their lips touched. Gagging soon followed. Naruto. That was disgusting. Damn him. He stole my first kiss. Why him of all people? He takes all the attention, all the girls, and now my first kiss. He's dead. Sasuke. Why did that feel good? Calm down. This doesn't mean anything. I mean, sure, I have never kissed a girl even though I am surrounded by them 24/7, but that proves nothing. You'll pay Uzumaki. I'll take that girl you were with and rub it in your face. I will have my revenge. Still, the kiss was nice. Rin was having a case of deja vu. The same thing happened to Obito and Kakashi back in their time. Luckily Kakashi wore his mask back then. Soon Iruka came into the room and began to announce teams. Team 7 will be Naruto, Rin, and Sasuke. Team 8 will be Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. Team 10 will be Ino, Shikamaru, and Shoji. Naruto didn't mind it much. At least Rin was nice, most of the time. Wait a minute, cried Sakura. What about me? Why does the new girl get to be with Sasuke and I'm just kicked out? The Hokage has decided to start up a medic program like Tsunade originally requested. Since you have the highest grades and best chakra control, you have been selected to be the first in this new program. Sakura hung her head low until a light clicked in her big head. If she was the first and did well, then Sasuke might like her more. Now for your Jonin instructors. Team 10 has Asuma Sarutobi. Team 8 has Kurenai Yuhi. And Team 7 has, before he could finish, a large mass shattered the Glass Widow. Soon, it became a woman with purple hair in a trench coat standing in front of a banner that read, Anko Midarashi. Jonin Sensei to Team 7. Iruka sighed. She was early again. Well, better than being late. All right maggots, she said. To the roof. Let's go. Omake. Wait a minute, cried Sakura. What about me? Why does the new girl get to be with Sasuke and I'm just kicked out? There was a knock on the door and Iruka went to open it. There was nothing there, just blackness and a hand holding a letter. Iruka grabbed the letter and then closed the door. He went back to where he had been standing and read the letter out loud. From the author. I don't like you. What? She screamed. How can anyone not like me? Suddenly, words appeared on the blackboard. Shino, reluctantly, volunteered to read it. From the author. You are useless. Name one skill that you have. Tell me. You have none. Now sit in the corner and be quiet or else. I dare you to try something, she said. As soon as those words were uttered, a tape player appeared in front of her that said please press play. She did. Soon, one of my favorite songs began to play. Sakura's a bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a stupid bitch, if there ever was a bitch, she's a bitch to all the boys and girls. On Monday she's a bitch, on Tuesday she's a bitch, on Wednesday through Saturday she's a bitch. Then on Sunday, just to be different, she's a super King Kong mega bitch. Have you ever met Sakura? She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a mean old bitch, she has stupid hair, she's a bitch, 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 bitch. Bitch, 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 she's a stupid bitch, Sakura's a bitch. And she's such a dirty bitch. Talk to kids around the world. Thing like this. Sung in 3 different languages by other children who appear out of nowhere. Have you ever met Sakura? She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a mean old bitch, she has stupid hair, she's a bitch, 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 bitch. Bitch, 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 bitch. She's a stupid bitch, Sakura's a bitch. And she's such a dirty bitch. I really mean it, Sakura, she's a big fat, fucking bitch. Big old fat fucking bitch. Sakura rrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr silent. Then my voice came on the loudspeaker. Take that. The bloody shadow. I don't think I was too hard on her. I mean, all she ever did was whine and chase after Sasuke. Name one battle where she helped. I can't think of one, can you? So no, I don't think I was being too hard. Besides, it was an omake. Uncown dragon. No, I will not do a time skip. Those are so overdone. I want to show everyone what he was doing and how he gets to become stronger. Also, his mom was in a coma for 12 years, so I don't think she will let him go off with the pervert. Let's see, where did I leave off? Ah, now I remember. Iruka let out a sigh. Damaged window, 11,000 ryo. Dents in the floor from Kanai, 10,000 ryo. Being behind Anko as she scares your class senseless, priceless. Anko, he said, you're early. You don't meet your team until after lunch. Anko's sweat dropped. She then looked at the students and sized them up. She saw a fat kid, a lazy kid, a couple of blondes, a pissed-off girl with pink hair, a shy girl, a brooder, a kid with sunglasses, a kid with a dog on his head, and several others that seemed boring. Weak-looking crop this year, she said to Iruka. This earned her several glares from the students. She then turned her attention back to them. Well, go eat lunch and then get your asses back here. With that they began to leave. As the last one went out the door, she smirked in Iruka's direction. So, want to go get lunch? Sorry, stammered Iruka, but I have to meet with a new teacher today. This was true and it was a very good excuse. He didn't mind Anko at all. It's just that he didn't want to ruin their friendship with her. Ever since his parents' death and Orochimaru abandoning her, they had become friends because they knew what it was like to be alone and to have their worlds destroyed by monsters. Anko let out a sigh and walked calmly out the door. Once she was out of sight of everyone in the area, she punched the wall. She didn't know why she bothered. Every day she got the glances and hated stares of everyone in the village simply because who her teacher had been. It wasn't like she knew beforehand what he was going to do. The only person who was really there for her was Iruka. Sure, she had other friends, but he was different and a bit more caring. Also, she just wanted to be treated like a woman and not a shinobi. To go on a date and wear a dress that wasn't so skimpy. Was that too much to ask for? The students had all gone outside for lunch since it was a nice day. Choji and Shikamaru were having a nice quiet lunch while watching the clouds. Sasuke was hiding on the roof so that his fangirls wouldn't find him. Kiba was feeding Akamaru and Shino was watching an ant mound. Rin was deciding what to do when a blonde girl in a purple outfit with bandages came up to her. Would you like to eat with us? She asked as she pointed to where the girls were sitting. Rin thought about it. It would be a chance to meet others and make some friends. The only person she knew around here was Naruto and he had gone to get some ramen. Sure, she said with a smile. She then followed the blonde over to where the others were sitting. The spot was under a tree that had a rope swing. When she got there she said hello to everyone and opened up her lunch that Mrs. Uzumaki had made for her. The meal consisted of a couple of rice balls, juice, some bread, and mixed fruit. So, your name is Rin? Asked the pink-haired girl. Rin nodded. I'm Sakura. That's Ino. Points to Ino. And his is Hinata. Points to Hinata. So, are you new to the village? No, said Rin with a thoughtful smile. She knew they were curious about her and would be trying to get as much information as they could. Rin knew she would have to be careful not to say too much. I have just been away for a long time. So when did you get back? Asked Ino. A couple of days ago, replied Rin. Why did you come in with Naruto? Asked Hinata. Rin was really taken back by this. It wasn't the question but the fact that she was talking to a stuttering Hyuga. She had met many different Hyugas in the past and they were either arrogant or wouldn't stop talking about fate. Rin was so confused that she gave away too much information. Oh, well, we walked her together after we had breakfast, she answered, then regretted it. Oh, shit. Now they are really going to be going at it. Damn that girl, she threw me off my game. She was right. All the girls were amazed by this. Naruto had breakfast with a girl. This did answer a few questions like why he wasn't wearing that orange jumpsuit. Of course, other questions came to mind. How did they know each other? Did she like him? Why didn't she like Sasuke? And so on and so on. So how did you two meet? Asked Ino as she moved behind the girl to keep her from escaping. Well, I ran into him when I got back into town and we just hung out afterwards. So you took him shopping, said Sakura. Rin nodded as she took a bite out of her rice ball. It's about time someone did. I tell you that he is just so hopeless. The way he acts sometimes really gets on my nerves. I mean, the only reason he gets away with half the stuff he does is because he doesn't have parents to ground him. Rin looked at her and let out a bit of killer intent. That's unfair. His mother was in a coma and his father died the day he was born. Wait, said Ino, his mother was in a coma? Did she wake up? Yes, said Rin. She woke up around the same time I got back. She's really a nice lady and having her back takes a huge load off Naruto's shoulders. He now has someone to care for him and give him what he has been missing. Why you sure seem to know a lot, stated the Hyuga girl. I was an orphan as well, replied Rin. I used to dream about having parents, but it never came true. I guess that's how I know how it feels to go on in life with no one watching out for you. No one saying good night to you when you go to bed. No one helping you when you are stuck on a homework assignment. It's nice watching them as they try to make up for lost time. Also, Naruto may seem like a pain at times, but he's very nice once you get to know him. But he's not as cool as Sasuke. Also our parents, she was cut off as Rin grabbed her food and stood up. He may seem cool with the I don't care attitude, but trust me, he's just being a jerk. Also, have any of you ever tried to get to know him? Do you know why your parents don't like him? No, well fine then. Just follow the crowd and don't think for yourselves. With that, Rin stormed away to finish her lunch in peace. At that time, Naruto had finished his second bowl of ramen. He had eaten the lunch his mother had made him on the way to class and was now hungry again. Damn the ramen monkey of his shoulder. He decided to order one more bowl and then hurried back to meet his new sensei. Iruka was at his desk waiting for the new instructor to show up. Mizuki was supposed to have taken this job, but now that was no longer possible. As he sat there, he began to worry about Naruto. Having Anko as his sensei seemed like a bad idea. What if he started to pick up her bad habits? How would the villagers react when they found out about it? What if Anko lost her cool around him and decided to use him as target practice? More and more questions came to his head as he buried his head under his arms. Sleeping on the job, said the voice of a woman. Not a good sign. Iruka looked up and saw Momiji Uzumaki standing at the door. She was wearing a bright yellow kimono and her hair was tied up in the back. Mrs. Do for you, he asked as he stood up. I came because I will be working here, she replied. The Hokage and I had a talk yesterday about what I could do to support my family and he suggested this. I'm going to be taking over the Kunoichi training program. She gave him a smile at the end of that sentence. I don't see a problem with the current system, replied Iruka. When will a Kunoichi use flower arranging in a battle? Or how to conduct a tea ceremony? I have never seen these in battle, have you? Iruka shook his head. Good, I think I made my point. Can you please show me around and where I'll be teaching? With that they left the room. Lunch was over and everyone was waiting for their senseis. Officially, lunch wouldn't be over for another 6 minutes, but the genin couldn't wait. Naruto, who had just walked in, saw Rin sitting by herself in the top row. He went over and sat next to her. Have a good lunch, he asked. Not really, she replied, not looking at him. I remember when I was a student here and it's sad the way things haven't changed. Oh well, said Naruto with a grin. Now we get to do missions and leave this place, Rin sighed. Don't get your hopes up, she muttered. Before Naruto could ask what she meant, the door exploded. When the smoke cleared, Anko was standing in the doorway with a grin on her face. Yep, that's much better than flying through the window. Alright maggots. Team 7 to the roof. Naruto, Rin, and Sasuke got up and began to follow her to the roof. Each one was wondering why she had to make such dramatic entrances. When they got to the roof, she sat down in front of her students and they in turn took their seats as well. Alright, my name is Anko Mitarashi and I will be your new sensei. Let's start with introductions. My likes include dango and sweet bean soup. I also enjoy tea ceremonies and the chance to gut my enemy. I dislike spicy foods and a certain snake. My dream is to decapitate that snake, clean out his skull, and use it as a bowl. Okay, who's next? All three of them were shocked at this introduction. Maybe it was because she was letting out killer intent during that last part. Or perhaps it was the way she said it so calmly. Eventually, Rin spoke up. My name is Rin. I like medical jutsus and people who take care of their friends. I dislike arrogant people who are too hung up on the rules, people who never give others a chance, and Kakashi's perverted books. I have 3 dreams. The first is to find out what Kakashi looks like under that mask. The second is to become as good at medical jutsus as Tsunade. And lastly, to find out who writes those books and break his hands for writing that filth. Anko gave her a nod. Okay, we got an aspiring medic. Not bad. I wonder if she'll let me help with the mask removal. I swear, I need to know what he looks like without it. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, he said loudly. I like ramen, training, and my mother because she is awesome. I dislike the dirty glares I get, the 3 minutes it takes to make ramen, and arrogant people. My hobbies are pulling pranks and my dream is to become Hokage. Anko smirked at him. I know how you feel, kid. I don't think you can become Hokage, but you may just surprise me. Now for the last kitty. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I have no likes and dislike everything. I have no dreams, but I do have an ambition to kill a certain man. Anko frowned. This brat thinks he's too good to tell me about himself. Well, let's see how smug he is when I give him my test. Now which one should I give? The bell test. No, been done too many times. I know, I'll do that one. Okay, thank you for giving me your information. Now, tomorrow you will meet me at Training Field 10 for your assessment test. What assessment test? Asked Naruto. To see if you should become Genin. Before you say anything, that test you took only lets us know if you have the skills needed to become Genin. Skills are one thing, but the ability to use them is another matter. So I'll see you there at 6 in the morning and don't be late or you all fail. With that she disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Whatever, said Sasuke as he got up. Don't hold me back tomorrow. With that, he left Naruto and Rin alone. The two of them got up as well and decided to go home and do some training. As they walked home, they were being watched by 4 different people. 3 of them were Ino, Sakura, and Hinata. They were moving in a group to find out more about Rin. Above them was Anko. She was watching how her team reacted to her news and make some observations. Also, it looked like it would be fun watching the 3 girls make fools of themselves. I think he's walking her home, said Sakura, who was hiding behind garbage can. I agree, said Hinata. And Naruto lives in the other direction. She was hiding behind a pole. How do you know that? Asked Ino. She was using the old newspaper trick so she didn't have to hide behind anything. Hinata didn't respond, but she blushed a deep red. They followed them for a while until they reached the Uzumaki residence. They watched as they both entered the house and began to talk amongst themselves. Oh my Kami, said Ino. They're living together. She turned to Hinata, who had fainted and was muttering something like, kill the bitch. They soon saw another person coming down the street and went back to hiding. The person they saw was Momiji. She noticed them inside. What terrible hiding abilities. They need work. Wait, why are they hiding in front of my house? I swear, if they are here to cause trouble then I'll go Wolverine on their asses. She then went into her house and let the girls be for now. Anko, who had avoided detection, was chucking at the 3 girls' actions. She then decided to watch this continue for a bit longer. That night, Momiji decided to start training Naruto. Mom, he asked as they entered the dojo, can Rin train too? She is my teammate and this might be helpful for her as well. Momiji closed her eyes and began to think. He made a good point and it wasn't like she could steal any of the jutsus she would be showing him. Also, she didn't mind it at all. I see no problems with it, she said as she opened her eyes. Naruto raced out to get Rin. Anko smirked from her hiding place. He had the right attitude about teamwork and suspected that he might have another motive. She then left the area to watch the Uchiha for a while and see what he was up to. Soon Naruto and Rin were facing Momiji. Naruto was practically jumping up and down until Rin slapped him on the back of the head. Thank you, Rin, said Momiji. Now let's get started. She looks at Rin. I want you to begin with push-ups, sit-ups, and then some meditation. Rin nodded and went into a corner on the other side of the dojo and got to work. Now Naruto, I'm going to tell you about what our bloodline limit does. It allows us total control over our bones. We can make them as hard as we want, make them regrow quickly, and even control the shape of them. Who does that help? Asked Naruto. He had been hoping for something like walking through walls or flying. Momiji smirked and loosened the top of her kimono till her right shoulder was bare. Then a bone came out of her shoulder and she reached for it and pulled it out. The bone looked more like a dagger to Naruto. This is where we will be starting it, she said as she rearranged her cloths back to normal. Once you are able to do this, I will start to show you the dances. The dances are the jutsus that go along with our bloodline. For example, the Hyuga clan has the power to look through solid objects. Now, once they learn how to activate it, they move on to training in the gentle fist. In a way, the dances are like the gentle fist. It will take time to fully master them, and sadly you are a bit behind. I can only assume it is because of the seal that has hindered this. Naruto looked down. This damn seal ruins everything. He was hated for it and it messed up his bloodline. Seeing this, Momiji decided to put a different spin on the situation. On the other hand, the Kyuubi did give you some powerful benefits. IR stamina, which will let you train longer than most. Also, you have much more chakra than most Chunins and some Jonins. And that's where you are now. Add to that your healing powers and you got a dangerous combination. For your enemies at least. Naruto grinned at that comment. He then undid the button on his long jacket and tossed it aside. He was ready to begin. Momiji noticed his small gut and decided that she would help him work it off. Now, the first step is to focus on the bone or bones you want and push some chakra into them. Start with your shoulder bone. She waited a few moments before continuing. Now, imagine a blade and focus that image onto the bone. Once you do that, use your chakra to push it out. As she said this, Naruto's humerus began to poke out. Then, a second later, it shot out like a rocket and sank into the wall, catching everyone by surprise. Momiji went over to the wall and examined the bone blade. It looked too soft and the blade looked dull. It's a start. He simply didn't put enough chakra into the bone for it to harden. He didn't concentrate enough, so the blade wasn't sharp enough. Lastly, he used too much to push it out. That much chakra is used for the finger bullet drill. Not bad, she said as she turned back to Naruto. Now let me tell you what you did wrong. The rest of the night continued like this. Naruto worked on make his bone blade until he got it right. After that, he and Rin did a few spares. Rin beat him each time. Momiji noticed that he had jerky movements and would work on that later so that he would be a bit more fluid. So after that, they called it a night. At 5:56, Team 7 was at Training Field 10. Sasuke was leaning against a tree while he stared at Rin. She and Naruto were having a pleasant conversation about how to improve themselves when Anko appeared. "Good, you're all early," she said with a grin. "What, run out of explosives to make a big entrance?" asked Naruto with a grin. "No," lied Anko. "Now then, you have until noon to complete the test. It is very simple. All you have to do is find me. I will be somewhere in the village, either hiding or in plain sight. The first one to find me will stay. The other two will be sent back to the academy." This caught Sasuke and Naruto off guard. Rin knew it was a lie but played along. Ready, set, go. With that she disappeared. Sasuke began to run out of the training area. Rin called out to him. "Sasuke, wait, let's do this together." "No way," he shouted without stopping. "That loser and you would only hold me back. Besides, it's everyone for themselves." Naruto was about to start running too, but Rin grabbed his arm. He turned to her and gave her a worried look. "What are you doing?" he asked. "We have to find her or it's all over." He would have said more, but Rin brought up a finger and silenced him. "Naruto, the village is big and she can be anywhere. We need to calm down and think." "But she said only one of you will become a genin, and I really like this headband." "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it," she said. "For right now, let's find both Sasuke and Anko." Naruto nodded and they were off. Watching them was a shadow clone Anko had left behind. It smirked and puffed out of existence, sending all of its knowledge back to Anko. Sasuke was running down every street. It had been 2 hours since the exam started and he still couldn't find her. He knew he could do this without the others slowing him down. They were only burdens compared to him. He raced down another street looking for his sensei. Naruto and Rin were walking calmly down the street. Rin told Naruto to make about 10 shadow clones and have them look in different areas of the village. The two of them were thinking of places she might be hiding at. "Let's she," said Rin. "What do we know about her?" "She likes dango and hates spicy foods," said Naruto as he remembered their conversation. "She hates a snake for some reason. She also said something about tea ceremonies." "Good. That narrows down the places she could be at. Let's check out places that have her likes in them." "Maybe we should also check out weapon stores," said Naruto as he miraculously used a bit of his brain power. "We saw the way she likes to make entrances and she might be running low. She also mentioned liking to gut things." Rin smiled at Naruto. "Good idea." With that they were off. Back with Sasuke, he was checking out the most likely place anyone would hide at. Well, in his mind at least. He was in the Uchiha district. She has to be hiding here. This is as close to greatness as anyone can get. If I was as pathetic as her, I would hide here. Back in a logical world, Rin and Naruto were heading to their last stop. The clones had scouted the rest of the city and had come up empty-handed. They had checked every weapon store and tea house. Only one place remained, a dango stand. As they walked in, they found her finishing up her 20th dango stick. She saw them as they came in and checked her watch. They still had an hour to go. Not bad. Good job, you two, she said, grinning. She then did some hand signs and placed them under a genjutsu, putting them to sleep. She then picked them up and took them back to Field 10. After dropping them, she went to pick up Sasuke in a less than gentle manner. Basically, she hit him over the head with a mallet and brought him back. Once she had gathered the all together, she released the jutsu and slashed water on Sasuke to wake him up. Now, I have good news, she said. Sasuke smirked. She was going to say that he passed and they would be leaving. You all passed thanks to Rin and Naruto. What? This came from Sasuke. How the hell did that happen? I'll explain, said Anko. The test really began when I told you about the test to see how you would react. Sasuke did his own thing while Naruto and Rin trained together. Also, those two worked as a team to find me. Sasuke simply went off on his own, again. The last part of the test was looking at the information I gave you yesterday. What information? Asked Sasuke. My personal information. I told you my likes and dislikes. They used what they knew about me to find the best spots I would hide. I mean, why would I hide in the Uchiha district? But you said only one of you would pass, snarled Sasuke. Fool, why place you on a team and then send back two? Your teammates realized this and even after you left them were willing to help you out. Because 2/3 of you passed my test, you all pass. Congratulations, now let's celebrate with Dango. Sadly, they became aware of a new threat when a team of Leaf Shinobi was captured in their territory. They were questioned and tortured for information. The information would be useful to them. One member of the group broke quickly and began to tell them everything. When he started talking about guard duties, he mentioned guarding a demon brat. This got the attention of the interrogator and began to question him more. Why was one child so special that he needed to be guarded by 2 Anbu and 2 Jonin? Why was he referred to as a demon? Soon the answers came and the interrogator rushed to speak with the Tsuchikage. The Tsuchikage was a man of caution. When he heard that the Yellow Flash died and sealed the Kyuubi into a child made him worry. In the past, this village had a few demon vessels before and they were very powerful. To think that their greatest enemy now had the strongest demon of them all was too much. They had tipped the scale of power. But, then a thought came to mind. There was a chance that the village wouldn't see the potential of this new child. No matter how strong the child would grow up, it would be useless if he couldn't fight or lacked the spirit to fight for his village. He decided to talk this over with the council. Like their enemy, the Rock had a council that consisted of the major clans and most respected shinobi. The talks went into the night and seemed like they were dead even. Half of them wanted to forget their revenge for fear of the Kyuubi's vessel. The other half agreed that, if their prisoners were any indication of their hate for the boss, likely die at the hands of his own village. Then a solution came and a plan was made. Fight a demon with a demon. The perfect plan that satisfied both sides. The ceiling could only be down when a child would be born, so whose child would it be? The voice of a man named Bakuden was heard and said that his family would take this. They had lost most of their members in the war, leaving only 3, soon to be 4, left. It was soon agreed, and so they waited for the birth. When the day came, Deidara ran to inform the Tsuchikage that his mother would soon give birth. He in turn called his sealers and the keepers of the special vase that held Koko, the 5 tails. They quickly gathered at the home of the once great clan and the ritual began as the mother gave birth. The process was long and difficult, but they were successful. The child was then given a name that was true to her purpose. Michi, for she was the pathway that would lead them to victory. That was 12 years ago. From that point to the present, she grew up. Her hair was a mix of white with a few black streaks and she wore it like her brother did. Her eyes were a light blue color. Her teeth were a bit sharper than most. She was slender and a bit tall for her age. She was strong-willed and had a code by which she lived her life. She often got bored with things and would skip school to go and play in the caves that were near her village. That has been her story to this point. Now is the present where we are now. The Tsuchikage was stroking his beard. It was a long and pointy one that, when combined with his lean face and narrow eyes, gave him the appearance of pure evil. Right now he was waiting for one person, Michi. He had called her to his office about an hour ago and he was still waiting. While on the whole, her skill were good, she was nowhere near the level that they wanted her to be at. But that would change with her first mission as a genin. She soon came into his office. She was wearing a light brown shirt and skirt outfit and wore her hite-aid around her neck. On her ears were headphones as she listened to music and she seemed to be dancing to the music that was playing. "Michi," said the Tsuchikage. She didn't reply and kept bouncing to the music. "Michi," the man shouted. "Ah," she cried. "Don't shout, it's rude." She gave him a look that said to be nicer since he was in the presences of a woman. Sadly, it didn't work. "I have an assignment for you of great importance," began the Tsuchikage. "As you know, most of the Uchiha clan is dead. In fact, the Leaf only has one left and from what my sources are telling me, he is about your age and has just graduated. No doubt that village will train him hard and make sure he is able to revive his clan. This is something we can't allow. So what do you want sweet little old me to do about it?" she asked with a grin. "Would you like me to seduce him and have him join us? Well, if that's the case then I might be willing if he's cute." "No, we want you to wait for him to leave his village and kill him when he is alone. You are the best choice because he won't be able to copy your special jutsus. Also, if you are caught, you can act like a genin that is simply lost or an innocent girl. You are not to return until he is dead or we contact you." "Fine, fine," she said as she waved her hand at her boss. "I'll do this but, promise me that you'll inform me if my brother is found." It had been 4 years since the disappearance of Deidara and Michi was worried. The Tsuchikage gave a nod and with that she left. "Is the target in sight?" asked Anko as she hid on the roof of a building. She and her team were on what she considered to be an A-No S-class mission. They were going to do something that was said to be impossible, even for the Hokage. "I see the target," said Rin as she spoke through the communication device. She was on the street. Naruto was on another building and Sasuke had refused to take the mission saying that it was pointless. "Good," replied Anko. "Naruto, when Rin stops the target, we will attack from above. I should work." "If it doesn't," asked the ramen-loving boy. "Most likely we will be killed," was her answer which caused him to gulp. Down on the street Rin was waiting to approach the target until he was in the right spot. It had to be perfect or else the whole plan would fail. Then, he came into his position and she made her move. "Hey Kakashi," she said with a grin. Kakashi, as usual, was reading his book and didn't bother to look at Rin. "Rin, is there something you want?" he asked. He was anxious because he was getting to the good part. "We all know what that is and if you don't get out of my fanfic." "Well, I was wondering if," before she could say any more, Anko and Naruto came flying down towards the late Jonin. He sensed the attack and used Rin as a substitute. The three of them fell on each other in a dogpile-like fashion. Kakashi didn't even look up from his book. "What was that about?" he asked. Rin, who was on the bottom, summoned her strength and threw off Anko and Naruto. She then turned to stare at her former teammate. "I told you, I want to see your face. It's the greatest mystery in the world," she said as she held up his baby pictures. It turns out even then he wore a mask. "Oh," he said simple as he walked away. Rin's eyes became dish plates and her face turned red. She was pissed. She then let out a scream that was heard all the way in Wind Country. When she was down, Anko, who had gotten up and dusted herself off, decided that training was over. "Okay, you two, let's get one of those real missions," she said with a tear in her eye. About 20 minutes later, the whole Team 7 was washing the dogs of the Inuzuka clan. Team 7 had been a team for about a week now. At first, they were pissed at the crappy missions they had to do. Naruto and Anko seemed to hate them the most, or at least showed it the most. The first time they caught the daimyo's cat, Naruto had suggested that they skin in and Anko volunteered. Other jobs they had been doing consisted of picking up trash, painting, pulling weeds, and cleaning latrines. Over this time they had become closer, for the most part. Rin and Anko had become friends and sometimes were seen shopping while Naruto carried their bags. Anko began to grow fond of Naruto as well, like he was a little brother or something. Sasuke, on the other hand, spent only the time he was required to with them and then left. As for Rin and Naruto, some people began to talk that they were getting close. These people were Ino, Sakura, and Hinata. When Ino and Hinata weren't training with their teams and Sakura was finished at the hospital, they followed the girl around and Naruto was usual right next to her. To Ino and Sakura it seemed weird that someone would want to be near Naruto and enjoy it. For Hinata, she was coming out of her shell more and more each day as her jealousy grew. One day her father saw her attacking a training dummy on compound and was shocked at what he saw. His daughter, the one he considered to be weak, was destroying a dummy with a picture of Rin's face on it. When he went to speak with her, her head snapped in his direction and glared at him, and only for a second, with enough killer intent to make him shudder. Momiji was enjoying her time at the academy. At first, she was shocked at the lack of desire these girls had becoming shinobi. All they did was talk about which boy was the cutest and what outfits went with what. Momiji just wanted to go back into a coma and never get up again. The next day, she made her point and got them to start training seriously. All it took was a couple of finger bullets, who knew? After the group was done with that mission, Anko took them back to the training field to train some more. Now, we're going to do some sparring, she said, getting everyone's attention. These will be pure taijutsu and will finish when I say so. Now Naruto, you will face off against Sasuke first. They both nodded and went into the middle of the field. In the last week, Naruto had gotten better at the dances. While he was style of the camellia, he had gotten the basic movements down. He was still at a disadvantage to Sasuke, who was stronger, but at least he would make him work for a victory. Begin, shouted Anko. Sasuke started first with a series of punches. Naruto dodged most of them while moving backwards. After a while, Naruto decided it was time to fight back. He caught one of Sasuke's arms and used it to bring Sasuke in closer and brought his knee into Sasuke's gut. Sasuke stumbled back in pain for a moment and then regained his composure. Sasuke moved towards Naruto and then did a foot sweep that sent him falling towards ground. Naruto sent one of his hands to the ground and used it like a spring to launch himself back up before the rest of his body could hit the ground. Seeing this, Sasuke moved over to Naruto's side and punched him in the gut while he was in midair. Naruto hit the ground hard and coughed up some blood. "All right," said Anko. "That's good enough." At that Sasuke smirked. "He wasn't nearly good enough," he said with arrogance. He turned to face his fallen teammate. "You're useless, so just quit." "That's enough," said Anko with an angry glare. "You need to learn how to be a graceful winner." She saw that Naruto had gotten up and was walking back towards them. "Naruto, you are getting better, but you still need work. You should have continued your attack after your knee hit Sasuke. Also, you should have rolled out of that last fall instead of springing up. Rin, it's you versus Sasuke and then we'll move on." Naruto sat down as Anko told them to begin. Rin was amazing. No matter what Sasuke did, he couldn't hit Rin and kept getting pummeled. Rin started with a few quick jabs to the face and then in the gut. When Sasuke recovered, he tried to do a flying kick. Rin caught him by his leg and used his momentum to throw him to the side. While he is rolling, he uses his arms to quickly get back up onto his feet. Rin quickly moved over to him and gave him one final punch in the face. "All right, that's enough," said Anko. "You both did fine. Now everyone come here so I can give you all a special test." When they were all gathered around her, she pulled out some small square pieces of paper. "These are going to be telling me what your chakra affinity is. That will tell me what types of jutsus I should be teaching you." She then handed them each a paper. "How does this work?" asked Naruto. "Just place it in your hand and then push a little chakra into it." The three of them did as they were told. Naruto's was slid in half. Sasuke's began to crumble. Rin's turns to dust. Anko looked at them and smirked. "Naruto has wind, Sasuke has lightning, and Rin has earth. Well, now I know what to teach them." "All right," she said. "Naruto, you got wind. Rin has earth and Sasuke is lightning. Good, because I know a couple of jutsus for Naruto and Rin. There aren't that many lightning jutsus unless you want to ask Kakashi. So, for now at least, I'll be showing Sasuke fire." She decided to start with Sasuke. She began to do some head signs and then shout out several small fireball from her mouth. Sasuke watched and was slightly impressed. It wasn't as powerful as his grand fireball, but it would help against a moving target. Anko then explained to him that it was almost similar to the grand fireball jutsu, except he had to cut it into several small bursts instead of one large one. He then went on to practice the jutsu on his own. Rin was next. Anko once again did some hand signs and then created an earth clone. It looked just like Anko, who gave it a punch and it turned into mud. She explained that like the shadow clones, these could fight and use jutsus. And, unlike Naruto's shadow clones, it didn't take up too much chakra. Rin nodded and decided to start training. Last was Naruto. She did the signs and then there was a large explosion of air. That, said Anko, was called Great Breakthrough. Basically, this jutsu will let you send your opponent flying. It will also be good in combination with fire jutsus. It's C rank, so you should have no problems with chakra amount. Naruto nodded and then began to practice the jutsu. They all continued until Anko told them to go home. As Rin walked home with Naruto, she saw that he was pouting slightly. What's wrong with him? Was it because he lost today? He should be proud of how good he's getting. She was pulled out of her thoughts when Naruto spoke up. Why have you been holding back? He asked. What do you mean? When we train, you don't fight like you did against Sasuke. Not that I look back, I realize that in all of our spars you have been holding back a bit. Well, I don't want to hurt you. If I did that then. That's not the point. How am I supposed to get stronger if you don't take me seriously? Rin began to realize the real problem. It wasn't that she was holding back, but doubting him. He thinks that I think he's no good. Naruto, listen. If I were to go all out on you, you would be seriously hurt. I'm sorry if I hurt your pride, but you got to learn that sometimes holding back is a good thing. How is it a good thing? Asked Naruto as he stopped. I know you're stronger than me and that I would never win in a real fight. But, I don't want you to protect me. How are the both of us supposed to get better if one of us keeps holding back? This has to do with our teamwork and trusting each other. I give you my all and you don't. This has nothing to do with pride. Rin was taken back by this. She hadn't thought of it like that. She remembered back when she was younger, when everyone never fought her seriously. Back when people thought she was weak because she was a girl. Naruto, I'll tell you what. Tonight during our spar I'll go all out on you. She gave him a smile and he smiled back at her. Little did they know that his stalker was watching them and trying to hear what they were saying. All Hinata heard was, tonight, and, I'll go all out on you. That night Hinata trained like the world would end if she stopped. This caused her father to ask his other daughter some questions. Hanabi, have you done something to your sister? No, what makes you think that? Have you seen her? He asked sarcastically. I have never seen her train like this before. Well, I did read her diary yesterday, said Hanabi. It seems like Some is going after the boy she likes. At that, Hiyashi went into protective father mood. WWWHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHSorry father, but I think it's too late, said Hanabi with a sigh. Her diary is very detailed. It mentions everywhere he goes, who he hangs out with, and everything that he does. Your daughter is a stalker. Plus, she has very nice handwriting. At this, Hiyashi looked like the painting, The Scream. At about the same time, Naruto was training again with his mother and Rin. Okay Naruto, said Momiji. Tonight we will be working on the finger bullet drill. You remember what you did wrong with your first try with the bone blade? Naruto nodded. Well, that was it. Only you need to focus on your finger bones and put a bit more chakra into them. Naruto began to follow his mother's instructions. He held out one hand and focused his chakra. Soon, 5 finger bones shot out of his fingers and into the wall. I think I'd better pick up a training dummy, said Momiji as she looked at the holes in the wall. Naruto soon got a full hang on the jutsu and went back to training on the dance of the camellia. After that was done, he sparred with Rin. True to her word, she didn't hold back. At the end of practice, Naruto was glad he had the Kyuubi. Well, I have to get going, said Momiji as Rin was healing Naruto. Where are you going? Asked Naruto. I'm just going to pick something up from the Hokage, she replied, and with that she was off. Later that night, Naruto had fallen asleep. It had been a tough day for him and he was beat. His eyelids were just starting to fall when he heard a noise. This put him on high alert, being used to being beaten up in the middle of the night. The noises were coming from in the hall and moving towards his door. He held up his hand, ready to use Hoover. It was went past his room and into the bathroom. A minute later he heard a flushing sound. A moment later his door opened and there stood Rin half asleep. She was wearing a white t-shirt and panties. She walked over to the bed and got under the covers. Naruto's eyes became dish plates. Oh. What is she doing? Is she sleepwalking or something? What should I do? At that moment, Rin seemed to move closer to him. Naruto could smell the shampoo she had used that night. He could feel the warmth of her body and the touch of her skin. Soon they were next to each other, facing each other. Her arm was soon wrapped around his neck, pulling his head in closer to hers. Is this for real? Does she like me? Meanwhile, one person was watching this for the Hokage's tower. The old man had been bored and decided to check on Naruto. Imagine his surprise when he was what was going on. He sat there, eating popcorn, and cheering for the young blonde. I wish I could get some like he can, said the Hokage. What was that? Said the voice of Momiji. The Hokage turned around and saw Mrs. Uzumaki giving him a death glare. Oh shit, he said. Back with Naruto, he decided to make a move. He was nervous as hell. As he moved closer, he heard her say Obito very lightly. He stopped and realized that she was asleep and couldn't take advantage of her like that. He slowly got out of bed and picked her up bridal style and put her back in her own room. Are you spying on couples? Asked Momiji as she slowly walked over to the old man. He gulped and did the first thing that came to mind. Shift the blame. Momiji, I was just checking on your son when I saw him doing perverted things. Take a look for yourself. As he said this, he pointed to the orb only to find Naruto in his bed alone. Oh, this isn't good. Die, old man, said Momiji. With that, the hurting began. I would like to tell you all about it, but it's a bit graphic and too bloody. Let's just say that he was later admitted into the hospital with wounds in areas where the sun don't shine. The next morning Naruto couldn't stop blushing as he watched Rin eat breakfast. Can you blame him? When they were done, they went to meet the rest of the team at the field and began to practice right away. Anko began the meeting with some announcements and then they began to practice their new jutsus. Outside the village, a girl with wearing the symbol for the rock appeared near the village and began to set up camp. She would wait for her prey to come, no matter how long it took. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next part.